Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO. Free, impartial advice on all your debt.
This is something that comes along every now and then in generation, and it's special.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. It's fight week. Aj-Pulev. Don't know where I was going with that. Pay-per-view this week. Sky Sports. DAZN. Hi, Eddie.
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself, low key. The only thing I've got to say really is fight week, baby. Let's fucking go. We're closing out the year 2020. It's been a tough ride. We finish with the king. AJ is back, baby. Crowds are back. AJ's back. This Saturday, let's fucking go.
Let's go. Right, let's start. Let's talk about the card first of all.
Oh, no.
What? What are you doing?
I threw a pen at the wall and it's gone all over the wall. So I'm Sharpie. Sorry, go on.
You're all right, yeah?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yourself?
Well, I'm glad. Lawrence Okoli, what is the situation? Is it for the vacant title? Is it not?
So I think it's unlikely to be honest with you. He's fighting a very good fight against Jędrzejewski, 19-0, another Polish fighter. I've applied for him. There's new rankings out this week, but I don't know whether he's going to be approved for the world title. I mean, he's a lot better than a lot of fighters in the WBO rankings, but I think it's more likely to be basically for the interim or to say, obviously, the winner fights Glowacki in February. So Jędrzejewski is here. We tried to get Sislak, who fought on Saturday. I thought I had him, and then he knew the numbers all week, and then team came back and asked for 7 times as much as Glowacki was getting for the fight. So good luck with that one, son. And yeah, on we go.
Okay, so when will you get confirmation if your application has been approved?
I would take it that it's just interim or basically, I guess, final eliminator. I mean, the winner fights Glowacki. So if we get the world title, Brucey bonus, but take it as no, unless, as I said, I know every fighter in that top 15 now, and Jędrzejewski's better than probably half of them. So I hope they do allow it, but we shall see.
Okay. Florian Marku.
Yeah.
The Albanian god.
Albanian smoke enters the bubble tomorrow. Good fight, actually. Shout out to Alex Fearon and Clifton Mitchell. Took the fight. Big opportunity for them as well. And really looking forward to seeing Marku. I mean, blimey, just announced it on social media earlier. He's gone absolutely nuts. We know he has massive Albanian support, but I think people were enjoying watching Florian Marku. And it's a good fight. It's a tough fight, and I think it's going to be very exciting. So you've lost a couple of fights. Is that why Marku ended up being on the bill? Well, we only lost one. It was Ramla Ali.
Right.
She tested positive for COVID. So Florian Marku will jump in the TV spot for Ramla Ali. Okay.
And is this a view to put the fight on between Florian Marku and Ryland Charlton?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll tie up. We want to, like to sign Ryland Charlton. I thought he was great last time out. So we'll see if we can get that done. But the aim is, fingers crossed, Marku can beat Fearon, and then he'll fight Ryland Charlton at the start of next year, which will be an absolute fucking war, to be honest with you. So that's what we're looking to do.
Okay, Kieran Conway now takes on Macaulay McGowan.
Yeah.
In another change as well.
Yes. So unfortunately for Sissoko, he had a medical problem and couldn't fight on the bill, was ruled out. And this Macaulay McGowan, who I've actually seen before, who made me laugh a few times, just basically come on through Kofi Yates actually, and with a barrage of swear words saying basically let me fucking whatever, And I thought, yeah, let's do it. Conway against McGowan. 2 Brits. I know that McGowan's a bit of a character. You probably know him better than I do. A good fighter as well. And he texted me this morning. with some more obscenities. And I said, chance to change your life, mate. So good luck to you. He said, I'm telling you, I'm going to take it. So that'll kick us off. That'll be first fight of the night, Conway against McGowan. So that'd be a good tear up. And best wishes to Sissoko. He'll be out very soon as well. And a big chance for Kieran Conway as well.
Kez Ashfaq takes on Ashley Lane.
Facebook, yeah, that's going to just kick us off on Facebook. Chance for Kez to come back. And then running order will probably be Conway against McGowan. Conway against McGowan. Marku against Fearon. For me, outside of AJ, the fight of the night. Bakole against Kuzmin. Fucking great fight. Hughie Fury against Marius Wack, Bakole against Jaszewski, and then AJ against Peru. So it's going to be tough to get the rounds in because we're packed. We're absolutely packed. And listen, who knows what's going to happen this week? As you're well aware of your time in the bubble, anything can happen. So hopefully we hold all fights on the card. And if we do, from 7 p.m. up until 11:30, depending on how long AJ lasts, it's going to be absolutely ram-packed.
I've heard comments from you that you believe that AJ contracted coronavirus back in March. Did you say that?
Yeah. I believe there's been some tests that show he has antibodies. I don't think he tested positive at the time, but they've been testing now, as you know, like these camps, Pulev, AJ, they're testing every other day when Chisora boxed Usyk at that level, because if you're in camp and someone gets COVID, obviously it's disaster. So it's like just random testing non-stop through the camps. So I think the team believes that AJ did contract it, and I believe he's still showing antibodies, which means he can't get it again, I believe, but he's testing negative throughout. And yeah, we expect him, well, fucking better anyway, test negative on tomorrow night when he enters the bubble.
Yeah, obviously everything will be all right. We know it will. But if he didn't, what happens? Show completely off? Yeah.
I mean, obviously we couldn't go ahead with a pay-per-view without him. Would we go ahead, with Hughie Fury and Bakole Kuzmin and Marku and Coley? Possibly. I doubt it, though. I think, and we know, obviously, Pulev tested negative. So, yeah, fingers crossed. He has another one on Wednesday, so shouldn't be any change there. And then AJ on Tuesday, and then we're all done.
Just to clarify, the opponents, like the foreign opponents, they have to test twice in this bubble period, yes?
Well, they actually test 3 times.
Okay.
They test once before they leave.
Yeah.
Then they test when they arrive. Then they test on Wednesday as well.
Okay. So obviously this affected one of your fights from last weekend with Zach Parker, where the cornerman must have had, what was that, his second test?
Yeah. Third test, I believe.
Third test.
Some people now are having tests before they go back because they have to provide a negative test. Is that within a certain time frame? Does that make sense? So he was unlucky. I mean, again, we wait for... The problem is we've had 1 or I think 2 false negative tests as well. But sometimes you don't get time to retest. Does that make sense? So if, say, Kubrat Pulev tested positive on Wednesday, he would not be allowed out of his room and he would retest in the hope that it was a false negative. Does that make sense?
Right.
But listen, fingers crossed, it's, when you've tested negative and then
Ed, you gone? Edward? You're back.
Back now.
Go on.
When you've tested negative before you fly negative when you don't. And again, these guys have been tested throughout camp. So, yeah. Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed indeed.
So, your tickets went on sale. I'm assuming, obviously, they all went. Must have been a bit of a pain in the arse because you've got how many thousands and thousands of people trying to get 1,000 tickets?
Yeah, of course. I mean, no one can ever be happy. But obviously, because it's the same household, you can only come with a member of the same household. I mean, I don't know how many we could have sold. 30,000, 40,000. But obviously, when you can't come with your mates and you can't come with, your partner who might not be in the same household or whatever, it's more difficult. But we sold them in a few hours. Congratulations to everyone that's coming. We can't wait to see you. It's going to be weird, isn't it?
So where are they going then? At the top?
Yeah, so obviously the Wembley setup.
Yeah.
On the best seats basically. So the 2 central tiers either side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically like a square. The ends will not be open. So it will just be the best seats in the house, basically. It will be the front on tier seats.
Have they got to wear a mask?
That's a good question, actually. No, I don't believe so, no. That is a good question. I should know that.
Hmm.
I'm gonna message you. I feel quite bad that I don't know. It's on the ticket information. Do fans... Hold on, one sec. Boris.
Oh, Boris?
Yeah, just... Bojo, do fans have to wear a mask, me old son? Yeah, see what he says. He might be tied up, but let's just see. So, yeah, what were we saying?
Is there alcohol available?
Yes. So there will be like a system where you won't be allowed to hang around on the concourses and have your beer there. You go to the bar, you go straight through, get your drink, go to your seat. But you can drink.
So you're not really allowed to leave your seat unless you need to go to the toilet?
When you say you're not really allowed to leave the seat, you can leave your seat to go to the toilet. You can leave your seat to go to the bar. Yeah, so you are allowed to leave your seat.
All right, you just can't loiter in the hallways. But I suppose all eyes will be on you for this, and you can't really fuck this up, can you, with the fans?
No, and actually, a lot of the process was handled via the AXS, the arena, the seating companies, because they can't afford to get this wrong either, So when you turn up, you will have to provide ID to show that you're from where you said you were from when you bought the ticket. Yeah. So, I mean, we have to make sure that we police it properly. The restrictions are in place. And because this is the start for us and for boxing to bring in back crowds in 2021. And this is the blueprint. We're the first people to do it. And AJ is the first guy, which is fitting, really. And so, yeah, we've got to get it right. But I honestly can't wait to see people back. It's going to be... I've enjoyed it, to be honest, but there's nothing like it. And although it's only 1,000, it's going to be emotional, KUGAN. It's going to be emotional.
Edward, are you allowed to travel from...
Wear a mask while you're sitting in your seat, except for when you are eating and drinking. There you go. Obviously.
Are you allowed to travel from a tier 3 area to come and watch?
No, geezer.
What?
It's a good question. That is something... Do you want me to... Look.
Yeah, find out that as well, Ed.
Hold on, let me do a voice note this time. Bojo, also, regards can you travel from a tier 3 to come to watch the show? I'm actually live on IFL at the moment, and a lot of people voted for you. So it'd be good to get an answer. Cheers, son. Yeah.
Man, you could just voice note. Does he ever voice note you back and all that? Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah.
It's actually, he said, just seeing you've added Florian Marku, absolutely sick, big Albanian Warrior fan. So yeah.
So yeah, listen, it's got to be weird to have fans in there now, isn't it? It's not been that long.
Very strange. And also, although as strange as it's been having no fans, it'll also be strange to have such few fans.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest, if you're a fight fan, this is probably the best ticket you'll ever buy, because this is something you'll remember forever. And you're getting to see AJ in the flesh, and Bojo's typing. We should say no, rear tier 3. Government advice is you shouldn't travel outside of a tier 3 location. So again, all your details will have to be put in to the system. So yeah, government advice is no in terms of travel from a tier 3 place.
So someone from a tier 3 has bought tickets, they come there, they're not going to be allowed in, basically.
There's a very good chance of that, yes.
Okay. Well,
I would think it may have been identified through the AXS ticket system.
Okay. Right. I want to ask you about Anthony Joshua's comments on Tyson Fury. Yes. Okay. For people that don't know, Anthony Joshua on Tyson Fury, I do think he should come over to Matchroom and 258 management. Let us handle his career. He's a superstar in the making. With the right management, he could go all the way. So when he's ready, he can come over and we can get this fight underway.
Yes.
Surely a bit of tongue-in-cheek there from Mr.
What do you reckon? Do you think AJ is going to sign for 258 at Matchroom? But I mean Fury. Sorry. I like it. I like a little bit of spice. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you can't have it both ways. Sometimes people say, "I wish AJ would like, say more and do more." So he does that, and then I see Fury's replied today.
Yeah. Tyson Fury's response was, people that don't know. Okay, Fury said, Anthony Joshua, has it ever dawned on you I'm not interested in being a superstar or famous? I'm a fighting man and only interested in smashing your face in. You keep the stardom, I'll stay real. Hashtag you big dosser. I'm coming for you, superstar. Tick tock, tick tock.
Love it. Love it. No more, Tyson. Just let us focus on Pulev. One fight, one win, and then it's your time.
Any update on whether he's coming or not?
I don't know. I believe he's been invited by a couple of broadcasters, and if he hasn't, I'd love him to come down anyway. Look, you'll see on Saturday how close we are to the fight being made. But if he's there, it would be fantastic. But to be honest, I'm shitting myself about Saturday a little bit because it's just, I hate this because it's just like, you just got to win that fight and we're there. So, part of me don't want to put too much emphasis on him coming down because it's the focus on Fury rather than focusing on Pulev, which is all we've got to do right now. Get this win and you have got it. You've got it. So let's just, one of them, Saturday night.
Because you've been here before.
We've been here before. We've been here before, my friend.
So, to your understanding, regarding Tyson Fury, because from what reports that the Wilder Fury Trilogy fight is not dead in the water and it still could take place in February.
I don't think so. I mean, I think Wilder came out the other day, didn't he, and said, I'll be fighting end of Jan, working on opponents, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that fight will take place. I think, subject to AJ winning on Saturday, I think Fury will fight AJ next. And there's been new discussions and, we're all focused on Saturday, but we want to make that fight immediately once business is taken care of against Pulev.
It sounds like, from what you're saying, obviously you don't really want to be talking about AJ Fury before Saturday, which we understand. But it sounds like there is things going on behind the scenes quite frantically.
Frantically might not be the right word because I think frantically doesn't start till once AJ wins on Saturday, we have a clear path to make that fight. It's always been, he's got to beat Wilder, he's got to beat Pulev. Once that's out of the way, we know Wilder's out of the way. Pulev, get that done, then the franticness can begin. But yes, there has been work to take place to try and get that. Listen, I'd love to announce it Saturday, but we'll see.
What do you think about AJ's comments about the fight potentially taking place in the UK with him having to take a potential pay cut? He did make some comments regarding that, didn't he?
He's taking a huge pay cut this Saturday.
Yeah.
So he's shown he's done it. He'll do it. And to be honest, I think whenever I say he ain't bothered about the money, of course, most people just tell me to fuck off. But the motivation for AJ is to prove himself as the best heavyweight in the world, right? And being completely real with you, I will look at all options along with Fury's representatives as to where the maximum revenue can be received for that fight, right? So you can blame me if you want, but we will present that to the fighters. If AJ and Tyson Fury are happy to take less money to do that fight in the UK, because let's make one thing clear, it will be less money and quite a significant amount less.
Give me a rough.
Well, this is the problem. Listen, if it's 10% less, if it's 20% less, if it's 30% less, yeah, I think those guys will consider doing it. If it's 50% less, if it's half the money, I mean, again, I can't speak for Tyson Fury, and AJ is his own man, but ultimately the decisions will come down to the fighters. But for me, quite honestly, if you're being offered half the money to take the fight in the UK, I don't think you should take the fight in the UK.
But also, Edward, what?
Do you?
What, lose out half the money?
Yeah.
No, I'd fight abroad.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're just about, I mean.
Oh, don't start, mate. You go wherever it's at. Listen, we know it's happening in Saudi.
The difference.
You've already booked the venue for Saudi.
To be honest with you, the difference between me and you, some of us are money motivated, some of us are real. Yeah. So don't go there with me.
How's your 20% this week anyway, Ed? All right.
What 20%?
Nothing, mate. Nothing.
Love.
What?
Doing it for the love, for the journey.
Oh, why don't you donate it to the IFL charity, eh?
IFL charity, you're the biggest
You're
charity.
20%. I'll tell you what, I'll take 5% of what you're on this week.
Okay, mate. No crowd, mate.
Ed, but to be fair, even if it takes place in the UK, you don't know what the crowd situation will be in the UK.
Listen, we might get to a situation where when we start, the process would be
right, just picking this back up. Yeah, Eddie, I'll just re-ask the last question. I said to you about we don't even know the crowd situation here in the UK. So Fury, AJ, if it was happening in the first quarter.
We don't know the crowd situation worldwide, and if all of a sudden a country that was going to make a huge offer isn't ready for an event like that, then that might give it more chance of landing in the UK if there's crowds. I mean, look, we're looking at the fight between April and June, probably. So if there's going to be crowds, then you'd hope that we'll be back to full capacity by then, certainly, especially with a vaccine.
Why could you end up in some really random part of the world?
Anything's possible, but again, Saturday night.
Okay, fair enough. Edward, did you watch Lyndon Arthur's win over Anthony Yarde from the weekend?
Yes, I did.
Your thoughts on that?
I think, it was a terrible fight, wasn't it? That's widely accepted. I don't know whether this no crowd thing is starting to sort of affect some fighters. I didn't feel like Yarde looked himself in the fight, to be honest with you. We know he's had a very tough year emotion, privately. But again, I don't want to take anything away from Lyndon Arthur either, And I think it's kind of like the same thing with Joe Joyce. He won the fight just with a jab. I mean, Joe Joyce didn't really land any shots on Dubois other than a jab, and nor did Lyndon Arthur. I thought that Yarde should have let his hands go more. And when he did, as you saw in the 12th round, he had him in trouble, didn't he? But I think Anthony Yarde is a very talented fighter. As I said, I think he's had a very tough year, personally. And to even be in the ring, I think, shows the mental strength of him. So the fact that he suffered a defeat, I'm sure he'll be back stronger in 2021. And congrats to Lyndon Arthur. Listen, Lyndon Arthur, and well done to Pat Barrett, well done to Steve Wood. I mean, listen, they're going to make an absolute fortune in a rematch. So congratulations to him. And, again, we should be giving him credit for the win in a close fight.
Such an interesting mix at domestic light heavyweight, isn't it? And obviously, you've got your ones yourself, Buatsi, etc. Anything on Callum Johnson?
No, I mean, someone messaged, I did a live on Instagram, you're ruining the career of Callum Johnson. I said, he's not, Callum Johnson isn't under contract. I made Callum Johnson an offer to fight, a month ago, November the 21st or November the 14th. Yeah, one of those dates. Then fight for the European title, then fight Joshua Whyte. And they just replied saying it's not enough money. I've not heard anything else from them since. So, you know, normally a manager would be pesting the life out of me. What about this? How do we do this? So I just presume they're not interested. I've got so many fighters. I've got a list here that I want to try and announce our first 3 shows of the year in the next week. And I've got 7 slots per show, which is 21. And I've got 40 fighters to get out, probably. So I've got to box them abroad, internationally. Well, I mean, so, I love Callum Johnson. We've got loads of great fighters for Callum Johnson. But if he's not interested, he's not interested. And no one's come back to me on it. And to be quite honest, I gave him the opportunity to fight. I'll give someone else the opportunity to fight now. So, you know, I'm sure Joe's talking to other people. So if they are, and that's what they want to do, good luck. Obviously, Boazzi against Yarde, which that was one of the disappointing things of Saturday, was obviously that's a huge fight that no longer exists.
Well, it still does exist, doesn't it? It's still a great fight.
It doesn't exist at the moment, but it could exist, and I hope it does exist, you know, in a year's time or whatever. But obviously that's not the fight. You know, that was a monstrous, almost a pay-per-view O2 fight. But it's not now, is it? You can't say it's still a monstrous fight.
No, I'm saying it is still a good fight, isn't it? That's what I said. I didn't.
Yeah, but it's not the fight that obviously it could have been.
Okay. Yeah, your thoughts also on another exhibition fight was announced last night.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean,
Floyd and Logan.
I spoke to some of those guys, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to announce it." And they told me 2 weeks ago they were going to announce it, and I just thought, no. And then when it wasn't announced, I was thinking, yeah, it must have just been bollocks. And then when I saw it last night, I was like, wow. So I don't know. It's tough to criticise, isn't it? Because I've done one, but I did do it with 2 YouTubers, and it was at least competitive. I don't really see the attraction of that one. Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit random as well, isn't it?
Like, listen, even Mike Tyson against Roy Jones Jr. Well, I can't say that I stayed up and watched it, but okay, you know, at least you don't really know what's going to happen. With Logan against Floyd, I don't see the narrative. All right, greatest fight, one of the greatest fighters of all time against a YouTuber who's 0-1. What, you know? But I'm available to promote it.
You would as well. Yes. I'm not even going to ask that question. It's too obvious. Edward, what do you think about their pay-per-view policy, like their pricing plan? If you get it before...
Just weird. But I've heard that that's actually not confirmed. I have heard that I don't think the broadcast is actually set yet. I'm not sure.
Well, that's on the official website, what that was going about yesterday. I'm
not sure if that's the case, if it's actually, but I don't know. But sometimes in these things, I get the feeling these people kind of announce it to gauge the interest, and then actually that will ultimately decide whether it'll happen or not.
But didn't Sky used to do this, that if you bought it before the night, you had it for like $5 cheaper? Did they ever do that?
I believe it's still the case, actually, for phone bookings. Right? So, but it's not the same anymore for online or red button purchases.
Right.
So it used to be you'd get it $5 cheaper if you booked it before. I guess that would be to save the influx of calls on the night, which they couldn't potentially manage. But now it's done obviously with a different system. That's not the case. But I think it might be more expensive if you phone and book on the night. I'm not sure if that still exists.
But who phones up anymore?
Exactly.
So yeah. So you're not a fan or not a fan? It is what it is, because you've kind of been involved in that world as well.
Sort of go on and have an absolute meltdown on social media about it. It's just another event. I mean, some fights are good, some fights are shit. Some films are good, some films are shit. You ain't got to go to the cinema and go and watch it, have you? Yeah, we are in a sport, and we do have opinions in our community, which I love, fight fans community, because they're fucking so passionate, aren't they? They're so opinionated. But it is literally like, it's just an offering. So you don't really, why would you ever freak out about it? Okay, because it's not right for the sport. Yeah, all right, whatever. But who cares? Let them get on with it. Like, don't tune in. But you're never going to stop people from trying to make money out of things like that. Do you know what I mean? So if the numbers work, those things will always happen.
But for yourself, are you more inclined to say, look, I'd rather fight or don't? I mean, this is a bit weird, because if they was actually having a proper fight that wasn't an exhibition, it'd be dangerous.
I don't like exhibitions. That's why I felt the Tyson-Roy Jones Jr. fight was a load of shit, because I don't want an exhibition. But at the same time, it's, should they be fighting physically? So I don't know. You're never going to say anything. One thing I've learned speaking to you is you're never going to say something that everyone will agree with. So you might as well not say nothing at all. But I can't help myself, and I don't do that either. So do you know what I'm saying? So I just feel I've just got absolutely no interest in watching that at all. Like, the interest levels. The worrying thing, I will say one thing, the worrying thing for boxing is people are a lot more interested in watching things like that. And I mean, you look at Tyson against Roy Jones. I mean, how many buys did Errol Spence against Danny Garcia do at the weekend?
I don't know. Do you know?
150,000. So, I mean, maybe 200. And then they reported that Tyson did 1 million. So the worrying thing, and Dana Whyte quoted this morning saying, this is where I'm saying boxing's in the shit. You've got one of the greatest fighters of all time fighting a YouTuber who's 0-1, and that's your big event. So we've got to be a little bit careful that we don't just say, okay, well, this does numbers, let's do it, because we have to drive the great fights, and we have to make Fury against AJ, and we have to make Crawford against Spence, you know, and we have.
You did KSI Logan Paul because it does great numbers.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm saying we can't just keep saying, well, that does great numbers, let's do that. I could create 3 or 4 nights that would do better than, I don't know, Usyk Chisora, you know, Whyte Povetkin. I can give you pay-per-views that would do more numbers, but it's not. We have to maintain the sport. We have to maintain great fights. That's what we're in it for. So you just got to be a little bit careful. But I would do Jake Paul against KSI.
You should try and do that for next year. I'm not going to lie, you should try and do that.
But do you know what? That's a good fight, I think. I think that's a good fight.
Because those fighters are evenly matched-ish, aren't they?
But that's why I don't really get the narrative of Jake Paul against Logan. Just don't get it. The only thing is, what is he, 20 kilos heavy? So it doesn't matter if he was 120 kilos. It ain't going to be competitive for 1 second.
What are the odds on Jake Paul fighting Logan Paul next year as well?
The brothers?
Yes, fighting each other.
Oh, yeah. Money talks, mate. Money talks.
Oh, I think, not forgetting, but next weekend is fucking Canelo and Callum Smith.
I can't believe it. And Golovkin on the Friday as well.
Golovkin on the Friday, yeah.
We'll be heading out there.
When are you going?
Weird. Like Wednesday next week, something like that. It should be weird. Haven't been to America since February.
Yeah.
I was going every other week. So, yeah. To be honest with you, mate, I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, come on, 2 weeks. And after that, put your feet up, stuff the turkey down, mate, and just chill out for 2 weeks. That's why I want to get these first 3 shows.
Yeah, so talk to me about these first 3 shows then. Can you...
Well, of course. I mean, look, we got Kelly Avanesian. We got...
23rd?
All the dates being mixed around at the moment. So Kelly Avanesian, Josh Warrington Kanzu, and Whyte-Pavetkin. 3 absolute fucking brilliant fights to kick off the year. So we're just trying to close everything off. We're trying to get the undercard sorted, just so I can sort of literally turn around, at the end of this period and go, job done, 2020. It was fucking horrendous, but we absolutely smashed it out of the park. And guess what? We've got these 3 bad boy puppies coming right at you at the start of 21. And then just go and chill out for a couple of weeks.
With what we were reading about Pavetkin the other day, about him kind of just recovering now from having coronavirus, is it more likely that Whyte-Pavetkin 2 probably will creep into February now?
Again, he's more than recovered. He's back training, but he hadn't, as of last week, hit training hard. So I don't want to announce. Dillian obviously wants that fight for January 30th. You know what he's like. He's just, he wants it ASAP. But I don't want to announce a fight and then have to put it back 2 or 3 weeks. I just think that's naff. So what
does Pavetkin's team think about the 30th at the moment?
At the moment, that's what they're training towards. We will catch up early this week. They've got Kuzmin, of course, fighting Bakodi this week, same team. And we'll just say, if you can make the 30th, perfect. Ultimately, once we announce the fight, we want that to be the date. And obviously now we have crowds as well. So crowds will be back at Kelly Avanesian, crowds will be back at Warrington Zoo, and crowds will be back at Whyte-Pavetkin, hopefully. So, that's good news as well.
Are you exploring other venues in the UK, or will you stay here at Wembley?
Subject to how things develop in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we'd love to do Warrington, Cannes in Leeds. But if we're limited to 1,000, then it's likely we would do those 3 events in one place.
Back here at Wembley?
Possibly.
You should come back to Wembley, Ed.
You like it?
Just very convenient, isn't it?
I like the setup there. I was like, mate, to be honest with you, if it's convenient for you, we'll do it. No problem.
Thanks. No, not just convenient for me. I'm on about for you. It's just convenient.
I'm irrelevant. Just, as long as you're happy.
Cheers. Thanks. All right, so when are you coming here?
Tomorrow.
Okay. All right, well, listen. So, normal little catch-up at the start of the week.
Look forward to it. We'll have another one tomorrow, eh?
What do you want to do? One a day.
One a day, baby. It's AJ Fight Week.
Quick one, actually, I forgot to ask you. Billy Joe Saunders. Did you make some comments about him possibly fighting Andrade next?
Yeah, look, he has to have a massive fight. Demetrius was on to us last night. He just wants to fight Billy Joe. So Billy Joe's messaged me this morning. He said, "I'm no problem fighting." I won't tell you what he called him, but no problem fighting Andrade. I think that everybody would like the winner of Canelo, Callum Smith. That's what. But Billy Joe will fight Andrade, no problem, and we look for that fight for February, March.
In the UK, maybe.
I think. Maybe, or maybe in the US, either. I think both guys are happy with either.
Right, Edward, I will let you crack on with your day. We will speak to you tomorrow.
IFL, fight fans, haters, whoever you are, I love you. I love you so much. This is it. AJ Fight Week, the final one of the year in the UK. Before the year. Can you believe, Coog, the year is nearly over? Can you believe it?
Madness. And by the way, stocking filler, little advice for everyone. You can get Eddie Hearn's Relentless in Tesco's for $3.49 now.
No way.
Yeah, it was in there yesterday.
But it's a one-off.
No, it ain't really.
By the way.
It ain't really $3.49.
I was going to say, Sunday Times, bestseller list, business, still number 1, baby. A few other bits. If you want a present for Christmas, obviously the book is a fantastic gift, but also the Matchroom Apparel Collection 2 is now live on matchroomboxing.com. Swipe up, check it out, have a look, get some presents, get some garments for the family, for yourself, for the gym, and that's it.
People wanted to know where you got that jumper you was wearing the other day from Reese, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Reese may have gone out of business over the weekend because of the abuse my jumper got. Do you know what though? Mixed abuse, right? A lot of people won't be, have been sliding into my DMs. Oi, mate, listen, know you've been getting a bit stick of that jumper. Where'd you get it? I rate it. So Reese, it was from Reese.
Okay, no problem. Edward, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV once again. We will speak to you in the week. Have a great day.
See you later.
This is something that comes along every now and then in generation, and it's special.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.